Welcome to our message, dear readers. Almost everyone is experiencing a sense of weariness and some physical issues at this time, because the high resonating energies now flowing to Earth as the ascension process proceeds are not just clearing old energies, but at the same time are integrating it into the cells of physical bodies. The human mind often interprets this process as something being wrong, because it is unfamiliar with what is taking place. As with everything that exists, Earth is the manifestation of an idea in divine mind, a perfect expression of God's creativity, beauty, harmony, and wholeness. Plants, animals, and individuals all expressing the qualities of divine consciousness. Over time, as states of consciousness slipped increasingly deeper into ignorance, the world's collective consciousness began to reflect separation rather than love and connection. Separation consciousness views the Earth and her life forms as being material, expendable, and available to be dominated by humans who consider themselves to be superior. Earth is still considered by many to be nothing more dirt, a dumping ground to be used and abused for profit. Because there is only one, this state of consciousness, one of disrespect and superiority, is often reflected in the lives of those of this consciousness, because consciousness is creative. The ascension process is dissolving energies of density that have overlain Earth for a very long time. This will eventually allow Earth to once again manifest more of her real self, the long-hidden Earth that as of yet is unknown to the majority. Throughout the centuries, there have been groups and individuals of higher awareness who attempted to explain and demonstrate man's oneness with Earth through healing and teaching, but they were usually severely punished or put to death for thinking outside of the accepted box. Most of those labeled as witches in earlier times were put to death simply because they were able to align with Earth energies and use them in physical, emotional, and mental healing practices foreign to the majority living from three-dimensional consciousness. Many had been healers in the ancient healing temples of the past. Fear causes people to rise up and resist anything that contradicts their personal belief system, regardless how false. Because a person's belief system constitutes their sense of security and is the foundation from which they build their lives. Fear in one form or another dominates the thinking and underlies the actions of the third-dimensional state of consciousness. Those locked tightly into some particular belief system will often lash out at anyone who believes differently. You are witnessing increasingly more of this now because the ascension energies are bringing about change, which in turn is threatening the belief systems of increasingly more leaders, church, government, legal, experts, etc., as well as ordinary citizens. Fear pushes them to proselytize, use legal means, and promote tactics of fear and guilt to force others to accept their personal beliefs about everything, because they ignorantly believe that their way is the only right way. This is particularly true with religious beliefs. Truth is truth, and can never be affected in any shape or form by those threatened by it. Fear, the natural expression of believing self to be separate from God, people, and other life forms, automatically equates in the human mind as separation from one's good. This in turn often expresses as the belief that a person can and must do whatever they believe is necessary to attain what they think they must have. Separation consciousness has birthed every war, all violence, poverty, disease, and every form of lack and limitation. Fear and its expressions are ancient and will continue until the energies that maintain and sustain them, beliefs of duality, separation, and two powers, are evolved beyond by the majority, which will then allow fear to dissolve of its own nothingness. Ideas of separation are and can only be illusory because God is omnipresent. Everything is in and of God, divine consciousness, because nothing else exists. How could an omnipresent God create anything from outside of itself? Why or even how would it create something foreign, dangerous, lacking, impermanent from the contents of its own harmonious, self-sustained, and self-maintained self? Lack, limitation, disease, etc. do not exist in divine consciousness, and therefore cannot and never have been created by God. God is self-sustained, self-maintained, harmonious, and complete. God is the only cause and therefore the only effect. Knowing and accepting this reveals why over time spiritual masters have called the world an illusion, even as good and bad appearances seem so real. The earth is real, how it has been and still is perceived constitutes the illusion. No one person is better or holier than another. Some are just more spiritually awake. God manifests itself in infinite form and variety individuality from the same substance. God qualities are the qualities of every person, because God does not limit itself by flowing more of itself to one and less of itself to another. God is forever expressing its fullness to every person, but how much is received and experienced depends upon the receptivity of the individual. Free will allows every person to keep the door of their consciousness open or shut. Right now, you are seeing a great deal of conflict in the world as old energies that have lain dormant for eons begin to surface. Energies of duality, separation, and two powers have no divine law to support or maintain them, but will continue to manifest as long as the world's collective consciousness empowers and feeds them with energy. This is why you who are awake are on Earth at this time, to seed and open a sleeping collective simply through the presence of your light. Allow the process without giving power to appearances. Do not believe that you are doing something wrong if life becomes chaotic, discordant, or that which is comfortable and familiar disappears. Know that you are doing something right, clearing that which is false, obsolete, and no longer relevant to spiritual evolution through your conscious realization of God as being the only power, and not the many things being presented to you at this time as being power. Acknowledge and claim your divinity in the realization that your oneness with Source automatically constitutes your oneness with all life and every divine idea. We are the Arcturian group,